it's been a minute. Things have just been hectic. We got into another project that took priority. We gotta pay some bills and get some stuff done. But you know, everybody's got their priorities, and this was one of them. So it kind of took me out of the shop for a little while. I've got a few videos that were taken a few months ago. We'll throw them in here, and I'll pick up with it kind of where they were at, kind of let you know where we're at now. We're trying to throw this thing together real fast and get it to a point kind of in a rolling mock-up. So just kind of follow along with us, and we'll see where we end up. All right, guys, what I'm doing here is I'm making some engine mounts that will set this engine back 2 inches in the chassis further than what it was. This is going to be my driver's side. It's you got this little notch here that cuts out, makes a little room for the steering shaft. I just hold them up in place, mark center of where your line is. You know, scribe your line. I use chalk, soapstone, whatever. But mark center on this piece of plate. This is 1/4 inch by 3 inch flat bar. That's what I'm going to use to make these motor mounts. Of course, like I said, make that notch. I marked, this is the center of where it sits, the stock location on the engine, and then I measured back 2 inches here, and I just like to drill pilot holes. You can see that back one, I mean, I'm off by, that's an 1/8 inch bit, so, you know, call it, I'm off by a 1/16 right there. Whenever I open that up to a bigger hole for the mount to set in, it's going to work out. I mean, that 1/16 of an inch, there's going to be that much gap in it. There'll be a spot for play in it. So I'll take this, open both these holes up, then this will bolt on in the stock location. Then right back from here, there'll be a piece that'll go vertical down the back side of that front cross member. And there's actually already a hole that's in it that holds a brake line in place. We'll pop it out and we'll mark where that hole is on the vertical piece, drill it, and so then there'll be a bolt. It'll go through here, bolt this down, and then one that'll go in on the bottom side here and bolt it both on the horizontal and on the vertical. Mount it 2 spots. We'll make some little gussets on each side of it, and then my motor mounts will actually drop down in this hole at that point. That'll allow me to move the motor back about 2 inches. Previous builds I've done, there's plenty of room at the firewall on these 4.6s with the Crown Vic Swap, but man, it's really tight up front, so there's enough room there. It's easy to make these mounts to set them back. You can buy them. There's people that make them and sell them. You can find them online. They're easy to find, but they're also pretty easy to make, so that's the route I'm going to go. All right, guys, what we got here, I'm trying to make the piece that connects from this cross member I'm building down to the frame rails. I like to use whatever I've got handy, so this is what I had handy. But basically I just laid this out, cut out a strip that was the same width as the tubing that I'm using here. It's right at, it's 2-inch tubing. Basically, just held onto this thing, kind of cut an angle till it fit, laid it up across here, made it to where it fit tight against the piece that I've already got mounted in place. Marked me a line across it. Took this piece, laid it on a piece of tubing. This is that piece of tubing. You can see, just laid it on there, made my marks, cut this to the corresponding angles that are on this. Now, you can take this piece, and it will, I can't set it in there because it's too tight, but you can kind of see where I'm going here. This is going to set flush with that. And then if you line these up, by the time I take this piece down, cut it off on both sides, this should fit right up in here. We'll lay it out on the floor after I drop this piece down to get it cut. I've got these two done. They both fit on both sides, so I must have screwed something up because there's no way that worked out for me. But we'll get these done up in here, get them tacked in place, set it up, make sure she's gonna fit, and I'll get back with you when we get there. All right, guys, this is it's been here for a few months, as you can tell by looking at it, but these are the motor mounts that I knocked together. I did wind up notching them because with a little more looking, I think I'm going to go a little beyond 2 inches, probably 2.5. So I set these up where they're slotted. Got a little more adjustability into them. It's going to help me with my drive shaft situation anyway. I haven't really cleaned them up. I just buffed them down with the stone. The way it's going to set up is this hole right here drops down in that original motor mount hole. And then if you see down here, these clips right there, and then there's another one over on the other side next to this one. But they went in this hole right here in the cast cross member. I did open them up just a little bit to make it to where let's see, I think it's a 3/8 bolts are what I'm using on this. There'll be one that'll drop down through the top here and bolt it. And this will kind of sets in place right there like that. It'll get one that, I don't know if you can see down in there, but one will go in that way, and then one down through here on both sides, same exact situation. I will come back and I'll weld some little tab, or what I'll probably do is weld a small bolt on here and put a cushion clamp to hold the brake lines, because I don't want it flopping, rubbing against it, rubbing a hole or anything. So we'll get that took care of. But then what that'll allow me to do is that will let the motor drop, set right down in here. We can slide it, have a little bit of play back and forth. And I'm going to end up doing the same thing here. This is where transmission cross member, and from the factory it was set up same way, had a little play in it, getting it in and out and whatnot. But I think I'm going to have to cut off the front part here because the transmission pan sits lower than the mount, and when we move it back it's going to hit this. So I'm going to have to trim this off. We'll cap it all, make everything right, and then I will we'll plate this, notch it, same there, and then I'll drill a couple holes through here so we can access it from the underside, put the nuts on it, and that'll get us taken care of for the transmission cross member and the motor mounts. All right, guys, this here just shows where those frame mounts I built. Got everything welded in all the way around. Got my nut welded to the back side of it so that when this sets down, you can see I got a little rust hole here I'm gonna have to patch. But where these bolts come down on each side, that'll line up in there, drop down on both sides, and that take care of the front side mounting. I did do some caps here on the end. Like I said previously, I had to lop off the front frame horns. This is just once I had everything, the cab sitting down on it, I slid everything back, got it sitting where I wanted it, as far as centered up on the wheel wells, whatnot. Everything works out there. Just knock these together. This is just all, it's all just flat plate. I'm doing this, I do have a plasma cutter, but for the most part, I'm a grinder and a cutoff wheel and an old welder. And I mean, we're not building spaceships here, so it's not perfect, but man, let's get them on the road, enjoy them. That's what it's all about. But anyway, got these just kind of mocked up on both sides. That's where the core support will sit down. there again, moving the motor back just a little bit, it takes care of a little bit of the space issue we were going to have up front. And we'll move on back. I'll show you this this other cross member I put together. That's how it turned out. Just sits across. Of course, the factory cab mounts. Of course, I torched this one off whenever I was taking the body off, but I will put a new bolt in here that'll drop through. It'll go through a rubber body bushing straight through this hole. I've got a hole drilled on the bottom side where I can get a big flange nut up in there and hold everything in place. That got my cab sitting level and square and everything with the chassis just the way I needed it. And just keep moving rearward. I guess the final thing for this video we're going to show, I did get everything welded, top, bottom. I flipped the chassis up where I could get in position and weld in the bottom side, similar situation. Just make sure everything got good penetration, everything. Man, you can stand on this thing and bounce for days. It doesn't have any deflection in the chassis itself. Now the suspension still moves and everything, but just I got a mess here, but clearing things out, trying to figure out exactly how everything's going to sit. I guess you see their wheels are going to be stuck out a little further. We'll get into that a little bit more a little bit later. I did bob the rear frame section for now. There'll be some more added back to it, but the way it was laid out is not the way I wanted it to be on the back of it. So we're going to drop it down just a little bit lower, give us a little more storage room in there, and we'll get you more information as we get along. All right, guys, I know kind of a lot of information, kind of everywhere on this one. Like I said, a lot of that video was taken 4 or 5 months ago. Just hadn't had a whole lot of time to be out in the shop. What little time I did have, I didn't do a lot of recording. I'd get out here and, if I had 30 minutes to work on it, that's what I did. I spent 30 minutes working on it. I didn't spend 20 minutes trying to deal with the camera and everything. And a lot of it was here by myself. I didn't have my mobile tripod here where I could let her do the filming and me do my thing. So kind of all over the place on this one. Hoping to get a lot done in the next few weeks. Trying to get this thing together for a little event that we're wanting to do that I've kind of already obligated myself to, but life kind of gets in the way, and I have a tendency of tripping over it sometimes. So hope you like the video. If you do, comment on it, give me a thumbs up, whatever. Share it with your friends. If you don't, do it anyway. I don't care. I guess we'll call that one quits, and we'll talk to you later on. Y'all have a good one.